Hey everybody, my name is Scott with the Arizona Hot Tub Factory, and they call me the Spa Man. Today I'm going to be doing part 2 of the video that I did 2 days ago about the jacuzzi that had the burnt board. Since then I've learned a couple things. I don't believe it was a power surge. I don't believe it was anything else that I thought that I talked about in the first video. What I actually believe it to be now is loose connections. Talked to the manufacturer of the product, talked to a couple other spa techs that are very familiar with this, and they seem to think that this was a loose connection. And as I did further investigation on the board and on the wires, I would have to agree with that. So this gets down to the same thing I see all the time, where breakers are tripping or heaters aren't working, and it's usually down to it is a loose connection. I do a lot of service calls like that. When I was working on this the other day, I just didn't think that that's what it would be, because these are, like a push-on connection. Didn't really think that that would really cause this kind of a problem, but after further investigation, that's what I do believe is causing this particular problem. So today I'm going to show you how to pull the board out and change that. I'm not going to really dive in deep into the heater, which I'm going to replace also. I just did a video like 2 weeks ago on how to replace a heater. I've done several videos on how to replace the circulation pump, so I'm not going to do that, but I will link those in the description, and I will put those in the upper right corner. I'll also link them there. And right now is a great time. If you haven't subscribed and you want me to continue doing these videos, the only thing I ask is that you subscribe to my channel. That kind of gives me incentive to keep on doing these videos. Right now, the viewers that I have, only 3% of you guys are subscribed. And if you look at it, I'm about 11, maybe 12,000 subscribers, and that's 2% of my audience, which I find just unbelievable. I want to really appreciate you guys turning in to view these. And with that, we're going to get started this video. So since I was last here, I don't know if the homeowner has turned on the breaker because they want to run the jets, but just to confirm, I'm going to make sure that the breaker is still turned off. And yes, the breaker is still turned off. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to empty out all the water. I'll get the board, pull the side off, get everything ready, and then I'll get back to you guys and show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I've got the little giant pump in the hot tub. This is by far the best pump I've had and I've used for doing hot tub work or anything else. It'll pump about 78 gallons a minute out of a 2-inch hose, about 25 to 50 feet long. I love it. I'll put a link in the description and up above on the right. And while I'm doing this one, what I did is I took the hot tub cover off the hot tub and I stood it up so that I can work in the shade, because today it is about 95 out and I just don't want to get cooked. So I'm always trying to figure out ways to stay basically cool. In Arizona, it's kind of tough at this time of the year. So this is the way that they package them now from the manufacturer. They now put them in the cellophane. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and open this one up and take it like that and open it. And let me show you something. As you can tell, the pump is almost done. If you look down here, they're no longer using the push pins only. They've now added this lug, which means I will add something different. But you still have the same connections right here, 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 and here. But they've added this to it. I believe they added this to it because this has been an ongoing problem. So, and this would be a, not a clip where you're just pushing it on. This would actually be tightened on. And it's got a lug, it's got the screw right here, and then it's got something that pinches down on it. This is a much better connection than the other one. So I'll bet you any money this is an ongoing problem that the company has had, and this is their new solution, is this. Before you start removing all the wires, take a couple pictures. If you forget to take pictures, you still have your schematics over here and all this. So you still have everything. But definitely take a couple pictures. Okay, when I start removing all the wires from the board, I tend to go pretty fast. Normally I go from left to right when I'm installing something. When I'm taking something apart, I go from right back to left. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to undo this one. This is what they call the heat sensor and the high-low. This one up here, it looks like the old telephone jacks. This one goes to your topside control. Down here is your black wire. This is for your single speed pump. It's got a black and a common. The next one up is your 2-speed pump. That is high speed. Next one will be your black wire. And that's all I'm doing is wiggling these. Next one up is your neutral. So I've got all the pumps disconnected now. The next thing is your circulation pump. It's black and then a white. And then, come on. That's done. Next one is your ozone. Man, that one doesn't want to come out. I don't want to break the clips because I need them. Usually I can grab right on it. There it comes. There's one. Now, if you note, the blue one's up on top, the brown one's on the bottom. And then you've got your light is the last one. The red's on the bottom, black's on the top. Be very careful with the light because the light usually breaks. Okay, once you got that, that's pretty much all there is to doing a board. You got a Phillips right here, you got one down here, you got one up here, you got one up here. We pull the board out. Now, I know this looks like a mess, and I understand that. I'm going to show you how to get past the mess. It's pretty simple. Okay, next, I'm just going to go to the screws. Nothing to it. Wait, I'm doing it with one hand. You guys should be able to do it too. Okay. Do not lose these little screws. Take your time. Okay, that's all it is. Whoop, I dropped it. Son of a gun. That sucks. It's down there somewhere. I now have the board out. This is the old board. You can see where it's burnt right here. This is the new board. Okay, you got NL right here. You got NL right there. You got your fuse right here. There's the fuse right there. You got these 4 lugs. You got these 4 lugs. They kind of moved everything around a little bit. And then over here, it says, let me turn this a little bit. It says, there's pump 2, there's pump 1. That's the neutral. The neutral is only for pump 1. Right here is the neutral for pump 2. And then you've got the circulation pump. And if you look above it, it says N and it says L. N for neutral, L for line. Same thing. This is very simple to do. Okay? You got the same thing over here. Pretty simple. Now we just put this board back in place, but there's one more thing you have to do. Let me show you what it is. So what you're going to do, this is the back side of the panel that sits on the hot tub. You're going to go to this corner. It's called JP1. And this is what they call the jumper blocks. Okay? And you've got those. Let me show you where they're located on the board. On the board, they're located right here. And they'll say JP1 above it. Okay? So that's what you're trying to locate. Now we're going back to the schematic. If you see, there's 8 pins, and they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Up here, you've got what those mean. Okay? So I'm just showing you for different configurations what everything does. Now, let me show you how you do this. This is so simple, it's unreal. Now, Jacuzzi does it kind of funny. The bottom one is 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, as you go up the board going that way. Kind of follow me? So if you look, the only one that has the jumper, this is the old junk board. This is the one that's burnt up. The only one that has the jumper is 3 and 4. So that is the only one you need to put on your new board. So if you come over here, you got the jumper on 7 and 8. What I do is I pull the jumper out of 7 and 8, and I don't want to lose it. This is what it looks like. It's got 2 holes in the bottom. So what I do is I actually just take the jumper and I stick it on number 8. Come on. Can't get it to go on number 8. I'm laughing at myself. There, I just stick it like that. It's not going to anywhere. Kind of follow me? Because I don't want to lose it. That's all there is to doing a jacuzzi board. That's it. So now that I have this board all programmed and ready to go back in, let's put it back in. But before we do that, we got to change some wires on the heater. Let me show you what's going on. So here we have our new heater. I did show in a previous video how to install a heater. I'm not going to do it in this video, but I will put a link in the upper right hand corner on how you do this, and I'll also link it in the description. But as you can see, it's got the same push pins, or the same, push connections on both the wires. What we're going to change it to is one of these. So what we're going to do is just cut the wire and crimp on the new one. So the tools that are going to be needed for this is just a pair of wire cutters, and then these are crimpers, and these have a special head on them that are made for electrical connections. And this is pretty simple. Let me show you how you do this. You're going to take your wire, and I'm just going to cut the old one off. That's all there is to it. You're going to cut back on the insulation just a little bit. These are kind of the wrong size for this. Just cut it back just a little bit, about that much. Okay, make sure it's a clean cut, and then you're going to slide it in the hole. And I always, as I push it in, I always make sure that I twist just a little bit. And what I'm trying to do is, if you look right here, you can kind of see the wires sticking out the top. Okay, now how this works is, this was a flat piece, and then they bent it around each side. You can kind of see the crack right here. I don't know if you guys can really see that, but you can see the crack down here at the bottom where my thumb is. So that's how it goes. So what you're going to do is you grab your crimpers, and on your crimpers you can kind of see where you've got a little like pincher, and then it's like a half moon at the bottom. I want the pincher, the type where it's going to push right there, I want that on the back side. So holding it like this, come like this, come on. Okay, I want to see it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze. And I tend to have gorilla hands when it comes down to this. I want it to be in there nice and tight. I don't want it to come out. And then I'll straighten it out a little bit, and that's it. That's pretty much all there is to it. It puts a nice crimp on the back that pushes it in there, and I find that that keeps it nice and tight. I've got the new heater installed. I've got all the new clips for the wires put on, and I've got the circulation pump put in. Now it's time to wire it. Okay, now we've got this mess to contend with. Let me show you how you go about fixing the mess. You start pulling things out that are in your way. You know, things that you're not going to use right away, like this is the new circulation pump I just did. You know, this goes to your top side control. So pull that stuff up out of the way. These are all your sensors that go over on this side. So let's pull the sensors up. You know, just get them out of our way, because we don't need them right now. See, if you already look at it, it's not that busy like what it was. You know, and just kind of get them, you know, pushed up on top, just like so, so that they're out of your way. We can worry about that later. Come on, just want to stay up there. Okay, we're going to pull this. We're going to pull, these are our wires for our ozone. We're going to pull that. Here's the wires for the light. That'll be the first thing we put. We'll pull that over. These are the wires for our 2-speed motor, so we're going to pull those over. And now if you look at it, it's really not that busy. So I got all the new connections right here. Got right here, 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 and here. Got these two connections. Okay, now it's time to hook it up. I've already made sure that my two wires that are coming in, these are my two number 6s that are coming in. This is where they come in. And then from here, you got one on the top, one on the bottom. Each one of these has 2 wires. So up here, you've got a white and a red. Down at the bottom, you've got 2 blacks. Okay, let me show you what's going on. I'm going to use the old board to help you with this. Okay, I can't stress this enough. If you get this next part wrong and you flip on the breaker, you're probably going to be buying a new board again. So let's get this right the first time. I'll try to do it as slow as I can and explain it as clear as I can. All right? At the bottom of the board, you have 6 connections. You have 2 right here. You got these 2. And then you got these 2, and then these 2. We're not worried about these 2 right now. These are the ones that go to the heater out. These are the ones that go to the heater in. This goes to the heater, or this runs this side of the board, I'm sorry. So anyways, if you look at it, there's an N. Right here, there's an N. Right here, there's an L. And right here, there's an L. So we're gonna number these 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're gonna run 1 and 3 are gonna be hooked up to the same, and 2 and 4 are gonna be hooked up to the same. Let me explain. We're gonna go back to the hot tub now. So this is the same board that I just showed you. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. These 2 don't count. So this is 1 and 3. Those 2 are going to be considered the same. And then 2 and 4 are going to be considered the same. Now, down here, if you take this one's going to be considered number 1 and number 3. The one on the bottom is going to be considered number 2 and number 4. Okay, and there's a reason for this. The one on the bottom, one of the wires goes around the back, comes into here, and hits this fuse right here, and then goes up to the board. If you do not connect that correctly, it's over. You're gonna burn up the board. So let me show you in the schematic what I'm talking about. This is the little block that I'm talking about. If you look over here, you got 2 wires. If you come out of this one right here, you're gonna go up, 1 wire goes to there, and then you're gonna come over, and then you're gonna follow this one. It comes all the way over to here like this, and goes up to that one. That is J6 and J7 are the same. Okay? This one is a J5 and a J8. They go on the second one. And if you look right there, there's the little fuse I'm talking about. You have to do this correctly. Okay? So let's go ahead and do this. This is really slick. Now, because of what happened to the board, I'm going to take my pliers and I'm just going to squeeze these in, these little ears on each side. I'm going to squeeze these in just a little bit to make sure I get a really tight fitting. I want that to fit really tight. There, that'll work. Okay, let's get on with this. Okay, so we're going to start with the top one right here. This is a push-on one. It's red. Colors don't mean anything. Just make sure you got them connected right. This one goes to the one on the left. Wow, I made it pretty tight. Come on. And I always put my finger behind it when I'm pushing on these little clips. Here, I'll bring it closer. I always stick my finger behind it like this so that I don't break the board. So that's kind of a pro tip. I don't like buying boards. Okay, now we're going to find the same one that's right here, which is this white one that's over here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put that behind, and then we are going to connect that one to there. And what this has, it has a Phillips head, and then it's got this little piece right here. I'll bring this a little closer and I'll show you. It's got a Phillips head, and then it's got this little square piece behind. I always make sure that my connection, when I do these, sits behind the little white piece like so, because I want it tight. Now, I've used these, this is the first time I'm using one on this board, or a board like this, but I've used these in other situations that are on other hot tubs. So let's go ahead and tighten that one up. Want to make sure that this is really clear, everybody, because I don't want this to happen to anybody else, and I don't want somebody to do a repair like this and then find out that they just screwed up their hot tub. Okay, now we're going to go to the bottom wires, which are down here. The bottom ones are black, you know, and they're usually black in most hot tubs. Come over here, put my finger behind it. Yeah, it's a nice tight fit. Come over here, and this one goes to right here. Just like, come on. I gotta open it up just a little bit. I got it, the wire bent too much. Yeah, now it goes in there. Done. Let me show you what I did. You got the red one, comes up, goes right here. It's also a white one inside of there. As you can see, and the white one comes up, comes over, and goes to right there. Then you got the black one, comes from down here, goes to here, and that one goes through the fuse block, and the other one goes over here. Pretty simple. Now I'll hook up the heater, which is nothing more than putting the white one there, and I'll put the black one there, and then we'll go on to over here. So I now have these two hooked up, and I got the heater hooked up. So now let's go on to this part of it. And it's pretty simple. The one up on top, look at there. That's the light. The one below it, that's the ozone. The one below that, that's your circulation pump. The one below that is pump 1. The one below that is a pump 2. So if you look at it, it just goes right in line. This is so simple to do, it is unreal. So you're gonna kind of have a little bit of shaky camera movement, and I apologize for that. But first things first, look at the light. And the light's usually the hardest one because it's way up in the corner, and sometimes you just can't see it from the angles. And especially when I'm trying to hold the camera. There we go, got that one on. And you gotta wiggle them into place. Oh, hold on everybody, I gotta grab a phone call. Okay, so I hooked up the blue wire up on top and the brown wire on the bottom. That's the way it was. Next is my circulation pump. So if you come over here, this, like I said, this is your light, and the next one is your ozone. The next one will be your circulation pump. You got white is your neutral, and the black is your load. So over here, you're going to come right to it, and if you look right at it, on the top it says neutral, and underneath it says your load. So you put the white one up on top, and to this day I still read them all before I put them on, because you never know if something changes. I'm going to tell you something else too as soon as I get this wire put in, and I want to make sure you guys understand that I did all this years ago. I wired this hot tub years ago. When I was first learning, I would always, like I said, I like to go from left to right when I put them together, right to left when I take it apart. I also like to go from top to bottom. So top was this one, and I just kept going down in a straight line. That's the reason why. This will not always be this way in every hot tub. This is the way I do it. It's funny, a lot of spa techs that work on hot tubs that I've worked on previously, they can always tell when I've been in the hot tub, because I'll take the extra 10 minutes and I'll redo all these wires and do it this way. That way I know when I get into the hot tub, it's done to where I'm not going to get an electric shock or be surprised. I know what it's going to be like. Another thing that people do, which is the way I did it when I first started, this right here, if you look on the back, when I took it apart, I wrote light on it. On this one, I wrote L16. Well, that corresponds to these connections right here. It'll correspond to these connections, but if I go over here, it'll tell me right here in these little numbers, it'll tell me which one. L16, L17, 18, 19. So that's just another way that when I first started learning how to do this, that's what I used to do. I used to mark all the wires like this until finally I got to the point where I don't need to do it as much anymore. But that's another idea. If you don't have a camera, you can do that. Everybody's got a different way to do it. I'm teaching my son-in-law how to do this right now, and I've taught my son how to do this. Both of them do things differently than I did when I was first learning. but the end result is still the same. You have to come up with a way to where you can remember it. And after a while, you know, if you're only doing one or two, it's never going to matter to you. But now that I do it, I just rip them apart and sometimes go, uh-oh, I should have taken a picture. So let's get back to work. So if we stay in line with what we've been doing, this will be the next one. This will be our neutral. Neutral goes right there. Next one is pump 1. And if you look at these, heck, I even wrote it on there. Pump 1 would be L16. So that will go right there. The next one is 17. That'll go right there. And then we come down to the next pump. And I always know that, you know, on these, you know, the neutral always goes on first. So the neutral, now we're starting to get busy to where, yeah, you don't have a lot of room. And then the black wire goes on the bottom. Okay, we have got all this from here all the way up is done. You need to take this clip. This clip pushes, what do you call it, plugs into the board, and that comes from the transformer. And this little clip has the clip that undoes it on that side. Make sure it goes in the right way. Now you can't, oh, you see if you can look at them, 4 of them are round and the other 2 look like D's. So they can only go in one way. You cannot put this thing in wrong. And just listen for the little clip. All right, now that you got that done, we're gonna move on to doing everything across the top. I'll show you how that goes next. So now the only ones you got left are your flow switch, your high-low heat sensor, and your top side control. Pretty simple. Top side control goes up here where the block is, and it can only snap in one way. And usually it snaps in with the little clip on the top. I'm doing it by feel. Okay, that's there. And then the last one is the last 2. This one's got a little set of horns on it, and the horns always, I gotta turn it sideways a little bit, the horns always go to the left. And don't force it, just push it in there. Same thing with this one. This one's got, the flow switch has a set of horns on it, and they always go to the left. Always. Now we're getting down to small stuff. Done, complete, finished. Voila. I think you guys can do this if you follow. If you're not sure, send me a text, send me an email, figure out how to find my cell phone number or my telephone on the internet. I give you all the information at the beginning of the video. My name is Scott. I'm with the Arizona Hot Tub Factory, and they call me the Spa Man. If you can't find me with those 3 descriptions, I don't know, man. But if you can, I know you're smart enough to figure out how to do this. And with that, let's see if I fixed it. I have the hot tub all full of water. Let's go turn on the breaker. Contact. Breaker sets. Well, if you look in the hot tub right there, you can see all those bubbles. That means it's pulling water from right there, and it's shooting it out right there. If we come over here, hasn't turned on the light yet. That doesn't mean anything. Let's see what's going on. Okay. I now have the hot tub up and running. We've got current. I'm going to test here. I'm going to test going into the board and coming out of the board. So let's see what's going on. What I'm going to do is use the tester. You guys have seen me do this many times before. Usually I can do this pretty easy. So I'm going to put the red right there and put the black right there, and I've got 240. I'm going to hold them right there, and then you guys can come down there. You can see I've got 240 going in. Okay, now I'm going to turn around. I'm going to move over here. On the other one, it's kind of tough to do with holding the camera. Go over here, and this is coming out of the board for the heater. See how I did that? Come out there. That tells me the heater is working. and that tells me that I'm shooting power to the heater. So anyways, everything is done in this hot tub. So I'm going to show you one other way that you can verify the heater is working, and this is kind of a physical way to do it. You've actually got to touch something. If you look right here, you can see all the bubbles. That's the water returning into the hot tub. So what you can do is you can take your hand and you can stick your hand down inside as far as you can. I got the camera about an inch away from the, okay, I can feel the heat coming out. If you can feel the heat and verify that the heat's coming out, that tells you your heater is working. Okay, pretty simple. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. And if you learned anything from this video or any of my other videos, this is a great opportunity to like and subscribe, share it with your friends, and I will continue to do videos. It's kind of frustrating when I put out videos and I get 5 subscribers in 6 months, but I've got 40,000 views in 1 month. It's crazy. Our videos have been seen in 70 different countries in 50 different languages all over the world. I want to thank everybody from all these different countries and everybody that is subscribed to my channel. Oh, we got jets flying overhead. Give me a second. That's the sound of freedom, and Luke Air Force Base is that way about, I want to say 3 miles, 4 miles. So right now they're doing maneuvers. This morning they're doing training exercises. So anyways, if you've learned anything from me, and I appreciate your support, and with that, I'll catch you guys on the next video. And remember, it's just a hot tub in the backyard. It blows bubbles and heats up. Don't go crazy, everybody.